My dad had always been a routine person. Every night without fail, he would go to bed before 10. After dinner, he'd watch television for an hour, brush his teeth, tell me goodnight, and disappear into his room. Nothing ever changed. That's why what happened 7 nights ago still doesn't make sense to me. I woke up to the sound of footsteps. At first I thought I was dreaming. I checked the time. 12:03 a.m. The footsteps were coming from downstairs. I figured my dad couldn't sleep. So I got out of bed and walked into the hallway. The house was completely dark. Only the faint glow of the television illuminated the living room. My dad sat on the couch. The TV wasn't showing anything. Just static. He sat perfectly still. "Dad?" Slowly, he turned his head toward me. His face looked normal. Almost. He stared at me for a few seconds before quietly saying, "Go back to sleep." His voice sounded tired. I didn't think much of it. Everyone has strange nights. But the next night I woke up again. 12:03 a.m. Footsteps. Living room. Static. Dead. Everything was exactly the same. No lights. No sound. Just that strange glow from the television. "Dad?" This time he didn't answer immediately. Several seconds passed. Then he whispered,
"It's almost here."
"What is?" But he simply turned back toward the television. I stood there for another minute before returning to my room. The third night I decided to ignore it. But I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong. At exactly 12:03 I heard the footsteps again. Slow, heavy, back and forth, back and forth. But when I looked downstairs, the television was off. The living room was empty. Yet the footsteps continued. I froze. Someone was walking. But nobody was there. Eventually the sound stopped. I locked my bedroom door that night. By the 7th day I was exhausted. I barely slept. I decided to check the security camera footage. I skipped to midnight. 12:03 a.m. My dad walked into the living room. He sat down and didn't move. Not once. Not even a little. I watched hours of footage. Nothing. 2:14 a.m. Still. 3:48 a.m. Still. 5:26 a.m. Still. At first I thought the camera had frozen. But the clock in the corner kept changing. Then at exactly 6:14 a.m., my dad slowly turned his head toward the camera and smiled. I shut my laptop and ran downstairs. And there he was, standing in the kitchen, making breakfast. Completely normal. He smiled. "Morning." I stared at him. "Dad, were you downstairs last night?" He frowned. "What are you talking about?" "You were watching TV." "No, I wasn't." "You sat there all night." He laughed. I slept like a baby. Then he looked at me. "You okay?" I couldn't answer. That night I watched the footage again. And that's when I noticed something I hadn't seen before. The thing sitting on the couch wasn't wearing my dad's pajamas. It was wearing my clothes. I froze. No, that couldn't be right. I rewound the footage. 12:03 a.m. My dad entered the living room. He sat down. Then a few seconds later, something else entered the frame. Something my blood instantly recognized. It was me. Or at least, something that looked exactly like me. Same clothes. Same hair. Same height. It walked into the room and sat beside my dad. And neither of them moved. For 6 hours. Not once. Until 6:14 a.m. My dad slowly turned toward the camera. Then the other thing turned too. And for the first time that entire night, they both smiled. Not wide. Not unnatural. Just enough. As if they knew someone was watching. As if they knew I was watching. I closed the laptop and deleted the footage. I didn't sleep that night or the night after that. Before sunrise, I sat on my bed and I swear, I saw someone standing in the hallway. I never looked again. Because every night since then, at exactly 12:03 a.m., I still hear footsteps downstairs. Sometimes I hear the television. Sometimes I hear whispers, but I never check. Because I'm afraid of what I'll find, and I'm even more afraid that one night,
I already did.